Hello, everybody. We're Team Stampede. We're focused on Formathon Research Challenge number 4. How will the uptake of open banking be impacted by COVID-19? We have team members Anna, Dina, Valerie, Zabin, and me, Chi. So first is the overview. Next is the definition of open banking. Open banking is a framework that consumers and business allow the financial institution to share their financial data to fintech companies. Fintech companies will develop and offer financial services and products back to the consumers and business. And this is the COVID-19 cases overview in Canada. We have a timeline and also the prediction in the next few weeks. Next is about the economic impact of COVID-19 in Canada. We can see GDP, CPI, employment have a huge drop in March and April because of the lockdown. But when people back to work in May, actually the employment raise again. And we also have the Canadian GDP estimation in 2020 with different lockdown scenarios. Next, Sabine and Valerie will talk about cases of Albert and Alberta.
For the case of Albert, his situation before COVID-19. Albert is an engineer working for an oil and gas company, married with 2 kids, loves to travel. He has different accounts, checking, savings, line of credit, credit cards, mortgage, investment account with different banks. The oil price went down during COVID-19, and unfortunately, Albert lost his job. He's stressed since he still has to do his mortgage payments, take care of his family, and send money to his parents overseas. Because of social distancing, he's avoiding going to the bank. With open banking, Albert can use a one-stop shop app to consolidate all his accounts to have a clear picture of his financial situation. Flinks and Mint are great examples. He will be able to get information on how to budget, where to get some cash, sell his stocks or withdraw from TFSA. And by linking his bank account to a PayPal account, Albert can send money to his parents abroad at around $2.99 versus the $40 the bank is charging for wire transfer. Overall, Albert can get products that meet his needs and transparency on how much he gets charged for services. Then Zabin will talk about Alberta, his twin sister.
Thank you, Val. Alberta completed her business degree and after that decided to help her parents run their small family cafe called A Slice of Pie. They survived the downturn in oil, and at the beginning of this year, they had 2 employees, a thriving business, and were well on their way to financial independence. And then COVID hit. She had to close her cafe, lay off staff. Her landlord refused to sign the rent relief program, and her liquidity started drying up. If Alberta had access to additional loans, if she could access the federal rent relief program, and if the provinces stopped landlords from evicting tenants for non-payment of rent, maybe she'd survive. Next slide, please. She also heard about some fun tech apps that could help her rebuild her business. They were apps to automate her accounting payroll. There were apps to help her consolidate her accounts into one spot by pressing a button. Perhaps she could manage her cash flow better and easier if things were possible this way. But she had some concerns. What about her data security? What if startups shut down? And what if there's no regulation and she didn't know what to do if something went wrong? Alberta knows that in the UK, her cousins were able to collect loans from the government in a much easier fashion using the fintechs. Why are things so slow here? On to you, Dina, for that.
Yes. In the United Kingdom, open banking was introduced in January of 2018. The UK Competition Authority mandated the creation of open API banking standards for the country's 9 largest banks to increase competition. An industry-led organization set up the requirements for consumer consent and authorization, and also a complaints handling process to resolve disputes. Another organization authorizes third parties, and these registered firms must be insured. Rules for data usage and privacy follow the European Union's General Data Protection Regulation. On the next slide is what's going on in Canada. Well, COVID-19 delayed the second phase of Canada's open banking review set for the spring. It has now been rescheduled for some time this autumn. The second phase will focus on data security, that's consumer control of personal privacy and security in financial services. Findings from the first review released at the end of this January included: one, open banking could benefit small businesses owners, consumers challenged in managing their finances, and people with limited or non-traditional credit histories. And secondly, risks exist because of the current unstructured environment. A framework could manage them by requiring more secure technology and providing rules for how the market players must meet requirements for cybersecurity, privacy, and consumer protection. Anna will tell you more.
Thanks, Dana. So everybody's having complications because of COVID-19, and some of them could have been diminished if open banking were available. Then all participants involved are having opportunity costs. First, we have the government who still needs to regulate open banking. Then we have financial institutions who has been slowly digitizing and now are overwhelmed facing the pandemic with credit requests, and also with the boom of the digital banking is having now. Most important, public and business are struggling. People are being laid off, and business are facing bankruptcy. Both need to push open banking to better manage their finance. And finally, we have fintech, really ready with digital technology, waiting for the opportunity to proliferate in this new sector. On the next slide, we can see a survey of worries of small businesses about COVID-19. The most important ones involve debt, cash flow, spending, and economic repercussions, even before health. Among other concerns, it is shown that about 34% are behind their payments and considering bankruptcy. Now Val is going to continue with solutions for small business.
Open banking can help small businesses in many ways, but mainly for cash flow, consent management, debt management, and loan and alternative lending. Next, please. So we have different recommendations for open banking. Educate stakeholders about open banking, how we can benefit them, how they can protect their data so they can advocate via the advisory committee on open banking. Banks need to protect clients' data while providing APIs. They can either invest in technology or cooperate with the fintech companies by doing an acquisition. The government can create open banking regulations to protect consumers' data, list all the third-party fintechs who meet all requirements, and provide online tools to compare third-party apps. The government can also protect clients' deposits in case of bankruptcy or security breaches on the side of the fintech companies. Finally, the fintech ecosystem needs to build trust with other stakeholders by doing it right the first time. To sum things up, when we have an appropriate regulatory framework for open banking, consumers will be able to get a better price, convenience, and customized products due to competition and innovation. Thank you.